Hey, what's going on, y'all? This your man Beats the Truth. Man, I haven't made a video in a hot minute. It's been a couple of weeks, man, almost a month. But man, I'm here to talk to y'all about this. And we just gonna have a conversation, man, because that's what I like doing. Talking to y'all like real people, because that's all we really are at the end of the day. Man, Saints Row. Now, many of us who grew up on that game, we loved it for one particular reason. And we're gonna be honest about that. Because it was just like GTA. At a time when, specifically Saints Row 2, you know, when GTA 4 came out, it was like the most, realistic, stunning looking GTA and one of the most stunning games we've ever seen on the console, right? But GTA 4, as realistic as it was, it just didn't quite do something for us because we were going from, the hood and San Andreas, the gang life, flying helicopters, jetpacks, choppers, doing all these crazy things, colorful characters, to like a more bland, closed off city. You couldn't fly planes. There were no, jetpacks or none of that, yo. So it kind of left like a, certain gaming itch. Enter Saints Row 2 trailer. Man, I had literally beat GTA 4, right? And I was looking for a reason to continue playing that game after I've beaten it. And all of a sudden I see a commercial that says something like, would you rather go bowling with your uncle and drive taxis or whatever? Or would you rather like run down the street with a flamethrower, setting people on fire, XYZ? Then it was, would you rather this on GTA? Would you rather that on Saints Row? Man, before I knew it, I shot around the corner to GameStop, traded in GTA 4. Probably the only time anyone has ever done that in history. And I grabbed Saints Row 2, brand new. See, what made Saints Row 2 unique, beloved, and frankly, the best Saints Row overall that has ever been created, it wasn't because of no, like, one particular thing, man. It was a couple. It was because, number one, it was the most like San Andreas. It was scratching that GTA itch that we all wanted, you know. Also, it came with co-op. It was kind of like a cooperative GTA San Andreas. And it had online multiplayer, man. That was so fun. You can rank your character up, get new clothes, get new duds, new chains. They had a whole what was it? A foam sports like hand called a pimp hand, I believe. You can smack players like 50 feet across the field. Man, that game was crazy, man. They got kind of crazy with Saints Row 3. It was pretty good though. And then Saints Row 4 was when they got all the superpowers. Now, you know what I believe happened? I believe Saints Row had lost its way. And they were just trying to find their identity because people kept calling them a GTA clone and et cetera, et cetera. But here's the thing, there's nothing bad with being a clone of the most successful open world crime-based game or, I don't know, simulation that has ever been created. There's nothing wrong with that, man. Saints Row was unique enough to where it had its own identity. It was a cooperative game that was similar to what you got in San Andreas, but very different from the style that they kind of presented. From the co-op to the multiplayer. And like one of my good friends said, he said they had lightning in a bottle and then they dropped it. Because at that point, man, Saints Row was on top. Saints Row was on top of GTA. Now, worldwide, GTA might have been more famous. I'm not, debating that. But Saints Row as a game to game, man, Saints Row trumped. Saints Row 2 trumped Grand Theft Auto 4 at the time. Man, and so we've been waiting for a new Saints Row for a while, man. And we kind of, and when we get one, we're taken aback, because this is frankly not what we wanted. You know what I'm saying? Forgive me, y'all probably heard me, close the door, trying to get it a little more quiet. Little creak in it. But I digress, right? We haven't, this is kind of not what we wanted, man. And I'm not one of those, kind of angry people that's kind of like, oh man, this is not our Saints Row and I'm not going to buy it and all this. I ain't doing all that. But I can definitely understand the outrage, man. Because let's be real, man. Saints Row 2 came out in about, what was it, like 2010? Man, this is over a decade later, man. I don't know, 2009, something like that. This is over a decade later, if I'm not mistaken, man. This is a new generation of people. But at the same time, man, we gonna call out the obvious, man. Saints Row, they don't look very Saints Row like, man. You don't see no Johnny Gat. You don't see no, what was that man's name? Julius. Was it Julius? Man, I can't remember that guy's name. Prince. I believe his name was Prince. Man, you don't see none of the familiar characters. Now this game can be saved, and I'm gonna tell you exactly how. Keep in mind, Grand Theft Auto 5 is the best-selling video game of all time. Of all time, if I'm not mistaken. This game has not only been purchased on Xbox 360, but we repurchased it on Xbox One, and we're about to repurchase it again unless the upgrade is free. Even if it's not free, I'm still going to get it for what it brings on the Xbox Series X's. You know, the PS4, 5, and 3 also applies to these conversations of upgrades. And do you know why we repurchased that game? Do you know why we love Grand Theft Auto so much? Man, because let's be real. Ever since we first played Grand Theft Auto, we kind of subconsciously in our minds felt like we would love to be able to do this with our friends. And that is what Grand Theft Auto Online allowed us to do, plain and simple. And it is for that and that reason only that Grand Theft Auto 5 is the best-selling game of all time, and we will happily continue to support that game as long as it continues to offer us something. And from what I understand about the upgrades coming, they're going to upgrade everything, man, from the engine to the details you can do with the cars. Hopefully, of course, the player numbers. I've honestly, man, all they really got to do for me, man, everything you can do offline in GTA 5, bring it online. Bring the animals online because they are on Red Dead Redemption 2, so it makes no sense why they're disabled on Grand Theft Auto. Bring all the random encounters from the bank robberies to the random crimes to everything, man. Bring everything offline online. I mean, you can want more, campaign DLC, but let's be real, man. This is a multiplayer world we live in. The best experiences. I'm not saying you can't have great experiences online, offline and campaign, but you can have great experiences. You have the best experiences in multiplayer, right? And I say all that to say this. This is supposed to be a Saints Row video, but notice I talked a lot about GTA. Why? Because that was when Saints Row were at their best heyday, when they were essentially trying to be like GTA with Saints Row 2, man. So I believe this game can be saved, man. Fortunately, we live in a time to where when a game is, released, it's not hard pressed and sent out like some CD that once it gets scratched or once it's out there, you can't do nothing. Nah, baby, we live in a time to where you can easily update games and transform them into something great that you could have never imagined. Look at Fortnite. It was just Save the World when it came out. Now Fortnite is probably the biggest game in the world as far as kids is concerned. And just, people who just want to casually game, besides Minecraft. Fortnite and Minecraft are probably the two biggest, most well-known universal games that I can think of personally, especially on console. Look at Warframe, how far Warframe has come through updates. Look at what Grand Theft Auto 5 again started as on the 360 to what it has grown to now on the Xbox One and what it will grow to on the Series X. They can save Saints Row, man. Introduce at some point, whether it's, some kind of DLC, man, it should be updates, honestly, some kind of big update, or even if it's DLC, man, introduce Johnny Gat and them back into the game, man. Introduce something familiar back into the game. Introduce, to where you can travel to the older cities or something, man. Add some sort of multiplayer component just like Saints Row 2. I'm telling you, man, because I've called this many times, man, being a gamer. I said this when it comes to kind of seeing that a game is in danger before it even comes out. I've seen this with Anthem. The first thing I said about Anthem, it's a nice game. Everybody was like, nah, just focus on the campaign XYZ. I said, nah, they're going to need to make that loot a little more diverse and add some PvP for the longevity of the game. It will need some kind of PvP and more diverse loot, a la Destiny. I called it. Look at Anthem. Soon as people beat Anthem's story, it was a great game. I've never played a game that gave me the freedom to move around and fight like Anthem did. There was almost nothing like it, man. Crazy. Besides something like Armored Core, I guess, to a different degree. But Anthem was so good, but the loot, man, the loot was lacking. The loot was lacking and there were no PvP. AKA there was nothing to do once you really beat the campaign. You didn't want to keep doing the same things. So Destiny has the perfect formula in that. Outriders is going through a similar thing right now. I said it before that game came out. What that game is going to need at least is more randomized legendary loot. And I know this is a Saints Row video, but I'm kind of giving you a background of, I'm a nobody to most of you guys. And if you've taken the time out of your day to listen to me, I appreciate it, man. Because I'm the beast of truth, because I'm all about just speaking, the truth. You may not agree with me. We may not all have the same opinions, but at the end of the day, if we're being honest and real with each other, man, the truth is the truth, right? In certain games, there's two different types of people, gamers. Those who think they know what's best for a game and those who actually know what's best. I'm a looter veteran, man. I'm talking, Champions of Norath, Return to Arms, Sacred, the old Diablos, all that, man. So I know what a looter is, right? So I felt that if you're going to release a third person, looter, then the most important thing is the loot, right? So let's get back to Saints Row. These are the things Saints Row needs, man, because it can be saved. They will have to, I don't know, we have to wait and see how the game is. Now, graphically, it looks beautiful, beautiful. But if you're trying to pull back in hardcore fans who are kind of turned off by the new kind of, rebranding / image, man, find a way to introduce some old faces back into the fold. Unless that's already planned and we just don't know about it. But I would definitely love to see the game get some kind of multiplayer similar to Saints Row 2. Similar to Saints Row 2. Because like I seen someone say on that video, it's kind of crazy when the antagonists in the beginning look more gangster and Saints Row like than the protagonists. And I understand, it's kind of trying to appeal to the younger generation. But let's remember, man, it's the older generation that made Saints Row what it is. It's the older generation that wanted a new Saints Row. This new generation doesn't know about Saints Row. So when you're, I guess, updating and rebooting or recreating the game, you're kind of torn. Do we cater to the old, our loyal fans, or do we try to appeal to a newer audience to pull them in? You got to try to find a way to do both. And that's what it is. So I generally believe that Saints Row 2 honestly needs some sort of multiplayer. For one, similar to Part 2, except expand on it. The more modes, the better. And they need to introduce some familiar faces back into the fold. Maybe since they're supposed to be young and upcoming, man, they can introduce someone like Johnny Gat or someone to come back and say, yeah, man, I see what y'all trying to do, but let a legend or something show y'all how it's done. You know what I'm saying? It can be like, that's the legendary Gat or whatever. See, it'll tie everything together, right? They can kind of play off the meme of people feeling like, I'm not familiar with these people. They seem like pedestrians in the street that you will see on the way to the city in GTA or something. I was watching some guy's video, man. I can't remember his name, but he was right? Because the new protagonists do look like pedestrians, man. Let's be real, man. They don't look like the traditional games that we know, man. And that's fine because it's a video game. But if you want to kind of soften the blow, or at least kind of rectify it, honestly, and this is from a sincere Saints Row 2 fan's point of view. I know I played that game way past the release more than many people, I'm gonna be real. And many of us who are fans of that game have. What Saints Row needs, introduce some familiar faces at some point in some form of great multiplayer. That can turn the game around, right? Y'all may not agree with me, but hey, man, I'm only here to try and speak the truth, man. Again, you can feel how you feel, but as an actual fan of this game, who I kind of just said, all they have to do for me is just remaster Saints Row 2, heck, re-enable the multiplayer, pretty much re-put the game out just for updated graphics, maybe a better engine, and multiplayer, the same thing they're doing with the new GTAs or whatever, except Saints Row 2 style. And I'm good. So if the new Saints Row reboot can bring in, the aforementioned things, man, it'll be a great game. I'm sure of it. But hey, this has been a different kind of video. I'm usually talking about Xbox or PlayStation, but it ain't always about that, man. Because at the end of the day, you can play what you want to play. Allow others to play what they want to play. It's about gaming. So that's what we just talked about a little bit. This has been your man, Beast of Truth. You know, much love. Lord bless. Y'all have a great day. Until next time. Oh, please feel free to like and subscribe. I'm terrible at advertising myself. But if y'all rock with your boy, man, feel free to hit that button. You know, no pressure. But again, y'all, take care. Much love. Deuces.